Hello everyone, this is Eagle Al. On today's video I wanted to talk about in what condition you should carry your gun in. Whether you should carry a round in the chamber or not. Whether you should carry it with a safety on or not. And I'm going to go over some of the common beliefs that people have, and then I'll tell you what I prefer myself. Okay, as far as one in the chamber or not in the chamber, the argument that people make for having one not in the chamber is that it's much safer. And, the theory is if there ain't one in the chamber, you can't accidentally discharge it. And that is true. But I'm going to explain all of the problems with carrying your gun with an empty chamber. Okay, the first problem is whenever you, if you run into a situation that is so critical that you have to suddenly pull your gun and shoot it, it's probably so critical that you've got a matter of a second or a few seconds to react. And a lot of folks, whenever their body is pumped full of adrenaline and they're nervous, they lose a lot of fine motor skills, the ability to do very precise things, and they also lose ability to think of a lot of detail in their mind. So a lot of times when you're presented with an instant threat, the main thing that your brain knows is you need to point the gun at the threat, and you also know you need to pull the trigger. So what some people will do is in the heat of the moment they'll squeeze the trigger and nothing will happen because in the heat of the moment they forgot to slide the rack. That's the first issue. The second issue is even though it doesn't take long, you lose a little bit of time putting around in the chamber during the process. And if you got 1 to 3 seconds before someone's maybe about to threaten your life or kill you, you don't want to lose at least 1 whole second or more sliding it back and then pulling it up. You don't want to lose any time that you don't have to lose. That's the other problem with not keeping one in the chamber. Now, as far as the safety goes, is a similar scenario, which is they make the argument as long as you got the safety on, you can't have an accidental discharge. It's true. But here's another thing. Once again, in the heat of the moment, someone's coming at you with a knife. In the heat of the moment, your instinct is to raise it, squeeze the trigger. You forgot all about you have the safety on, so you raise it, pull the trigger once, nothing happens. Pull it maybe a second time, nothing happens, and then you're stabbed. All because you forgot the safety was on. So, I'm now going to explain the way I prefer to carry it, which is obvious by the way I'm talking, and why it's the best way to carry it. You keep one in the chamber, okay? You don't have the safety on. Under some circumstances, you can put the safety on. But one in the chamber, safety not on. Now, the only thing you have to think about is squeezing the trigger. Now, if you're using a golden rule of guns, you do not put your finger on that trigger and apply pressure until you're ready to send a bullet out of it. Once you've burned that into your head time and time again, that is the #1 rule. I do not set my finger on this trigger and I do not apply pressure if I don't want a bullet to come out. I can handle this gun all day long. I can grab the grip, I can look at the slide, I can look down the sides, I can holster it, unholster it. can play with it all day long. As long as I'm not setting my finger in there and applying pressure, it's not going to go off. I'm not going to accidentally set a finger inside there and then accidentally apply pressure. Your brain is too good for that. So when a sudden threat comes at you, you raise it and you squeeze. And guess what? It does what it's supposed to do. So that's the best way to carry it. And that's the way I always carry it. I saw a video some years back where a jewelry store owner, he kept a gun underneath the counter for safety. And then someone came in and he could tell they was acting sketchy. So he brought his hand down and he was close to his gun just in case. And then he saw the bad guy start to reach for a gun. So he reached for his and then he aimed it at the bad guy. He pulled the trigger a couple of times and then the bad guy shot the store owner like 6 times in the chest. And what happened was, in the heat of the moment, the jewelry store owner forgot to take the safety off. So he had 2 unsuccessful attempts on the trigger, and that costed him enough time to where the criminal shot him 6 times in the chest. So if you learn the proper way to handle a gun and you etch the safety rules about a gun into your head and you practice it time and time again, you will find that it is absolutely the best way to carry it. You need one in a chamber, safety off, and then, like I said once before, or more than once before, mess with it all you want. Just don't set your finger on the trigger and pull back. Unless you're practicing something and you've already taken the clip out and you've already pulled the slide back, looked down the chamber with your eyes really good, and even stick your finger in there if you want. Once you verified that the clip is out, once you verified that there's no bullet sitting in the chamber, which there ain't, your gun's safe all day long. This is Eagle Al. Thanks for watching.